Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I just would like to take a moment to say thank you to every little girl who hit my like and subscribe button today and showed up on my YouTube channel. Your presence here on this YouTube channel today meant the world to me because I was uploading a lot of Descendants and Zombies videos, and just knowing that you loved these videos and you hit the like button as many times as what you did or subscribed means the world to me, because every subscriber on this YouTube channel is just so heartwarming to me, because it says that, hey Jonathan, I love your videos, and I could be on anybody else's YouTube channel watching Descendants and Zombies videos, but I trust in you, and I love you so much. Thank you so much for letting me know that today by hitting the like and subscribe button. And if you are someone who has yet to hit the like or subscribe button, I would love for you to be a part of this YouTube channel. If this is your first time watching any of my videos, I think you're really going to like it here, because tomorrow is Meg Donnelly's birthday. Meg Donnelly will be 25 tomorrow, and I'm really excited to celebrate her birthday. And all throughout tomorrow, I will throw up zombies and Meg Donnelly videos to celebrate her 25th birthday. It's a milestone. I remember when I turned 25, that wasn't yesterday, and I remember being a huge fan of all these different video games, all these different movies. It was at the time of my life when I was 25 years old. And when I was 25 years, I believe when I was 25 years old, that was when Descendants first premiered on Disney Channel. And I remember watching the premiere of that just after I turned 25. That was back in 2015, so yeah, that would have roughly been around when I was 25 years old. And I remember everything. The red carpet premiere was absolutely gorgeous. Dove Cameron looked stunning in her gown, so did Sophia Carson. And I knew instantly, right after I saw the first trailer for Descendants, it was going to be spectacular. And it felt nothing short of being spectacular. My eyes literally hit the floor. My jaw hit the floor along with my eyes, and my heart pounded a little bit faster because everything about it made perfect sense to me. The music, the message, the vibe, just in general, I got from Descendants was absolutely incredible. And 10 years later, we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of Descendants, coming up on the 31st of this month, 1 week after we celebrate Meg Donnelly's birthday. And this is a really huge milestone for every little girl who ever thought they were a fan of Descendants, or whoever said they were a fan of the franchise. And I want to just let you guys know that I'm going to do my absolute best to bring out the best of Descendants for what it was worth, and we're going to talk about this for the entire year, not just for this month because it's the 10th anniversary of Descendants, but we're going to talk about it for the entire year because we're leading up to the premiere of Descendants 5, Wicked Wonderland, which I'm really excited about, Zombies 5, which is a long way away from happening, I know, because the release window is suggesting anywhere between now and mid-2027, with Mermaids and Witches having their introduction scene into the Zombies franchise. We really don't know what was in that vortex, but it looks like it's something cool. People are already suggesting it's going to be witches or mermaids. I would go for either or, because witches are incredibly innocent and mermaids make it that much more unpredictable. I have loved watching mermaids and studying mermaids for forever. I've never actually encountered a real-life mermaid, so if there's a real-life mermaid watching these videos who loves my voice, you can hit the subscribe button and let me know that you're out there in the sea looking at the moon tonight, because we all look at the same moon, and it is absolutely gorgeous just after dusk this evening. And if there's a beautiful mermaid watching these videos, I would love to know who you are, so hit the subscribe button. I've always read fairy tales that have everything to do with mermaids. I remember reading the Little Mermaid novel when it was first released, and there were a lot of depressing things that happened in the book, but despite all the depression, from Eric's death to this happening to Ariel in the book, it was gorgeous. And then Disney comes out with this beautiful animated classic version of The Little Mermaid by 1989, and it was gorgeous. I fell in love with that. And then, of course, there was so much confliction with Beauty and the Beast and their novel and their on-stage production, and then Disney comes out with this beautiful adaptation, animated classic of Beauty and the Beast, and I've loved it ever since. I love how Disney took the VK kids and they drew inspiration from all these other Disney villains to create the daughters and sons of the Disney villains, such as Maleficent, such as the Evil Queen, and such as Cruella de Vil, portrayed by Cameron Boyce. God rest his soul. I miss Cameron Boyce every single time I create a video about Descendants. I think that he was someone who was very beloved, and he's going to be missed eternally, forever and always. And that's why I always go out of my way to talk about Cameron Boyce in the way of a tribute video every time the death of his anniversary pops up, the anniversary of his death pops up, or his birthday, which we just celebrated, both milestones. And I think that we can never give Cameron Boyce enough credit where credit is due, and I will always do my best to keep his memory alive on this YouTube channel for every single person who ever thought they were a fan of Descendants, or whoever proudly said they were a fan of Descendants. We've got a lot happening this summer. we've got the Worlds Collide Tour, and that's the reason why Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland will not be happening until summer 2026. Or at least that's what the release window suggests. Now, I would love to see it released around the fall or possibly in the holiday season, because there's just something about seeing a Descendants movie happening around the holidays that I think would fit very appropriate with what Descendants has been promoting about kindness and love, and I would just love to see it, have a fall premiere. I think the only Descendants movie outside of the original two that premiered in any other month of the year was August, and that was still in the summertime, so it was still a summer premiere. I think it was a summer blast for Disney, really, a summer blockbuster, if you would, kind of like how Jaws was a summer blockbuster back in 1973. And that wasn't yesterday when people would line up to the end of the block just to see movies like Jaws and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween. I remember that because I was in theaters that had the premieres of these movies and the reboots. And I was in a movie theater years ago, and the last movie I saw into it before it burned to the ground was actually Nightmare on Elm Street, the reboot. It was a good movie, but it was kind of hauntingly coincidental that the movie theater that I was in that night and had attended the premiere of it, it burned to the ground. But I do remember the very first, it was kind of really spooky, I do remember the very first Descendants movie, the red carpet premiere. I remember the gowns that Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson were seen wearing, absolutely gorgeous. And then we fast forward to the premiere of The Rise of Red, back in 2024, a little over 2 years ago, and it was an amazing premiere. Ruby Rose Turner's gown was perhaps the most beautiful, hers and Kylie's. I think it was a toss-up between her and Kylie's. But if I had to choose which gown was more beautiful, I would have to say Ruby Rose Turner. And you're probably saying to yourself, yeah, you're saying that because you got a really big crush on Ruby. Well, just in case Ruby sees these videos, I want her to know that I have a crush on her, just as much as I love each and every one of you for hitting my subscribe button. But Ruby's gown was stunning, but that's not taking anything away from Kylie Cantrell, because I'm a really sweet guy. I think Kylie's gown was beautiful too. And on the night of the red carpet premiere of The Rise of Red, I knew this movie was going to be an instant classic for Disney, and it was going to be something that was going to be instantly cherished by every single little girl who ever thought they were a Descendants fan. I've had the honor of sitting down with so many little girls and having the honor of watching every one of the Descendants movies, including The Rise of Red, with them. And one of the greatest honors I think I've ever had in my life, I'm going to sound like a real sweetheart that a lot of girls are going to be crushing on by the end of tonight. But every single movie that I've ever had the honor to watch with a little girl who I was dating at the time, because they had daughters and stuff, I loved it so much because I got to know the little girl for who she was. I got to know her for her favorite characters and why she drew inspiration and felt like she was a part of the show. And I liked making her feel as if she was a part of it and she was immersed into it, because I think that, watching something like the Worlds Collide Tour, you really have to experience it in an immersible way, which means you really have to feel as if you're a part of it and you're up there on stage with your favorite stars, either that or dancing like Shrimpy. I love the Shrimpy character from Zombies. I don't know why I love Shrimpy so much, or why I would love to take myself up on the opportunity to don the Shrimpy costume and dance on stage with a bunch of zombies. There's just something that I think I would get an incredible thrill from, dancing on stage with a bunch of zombies, or being the choreographer behind the Worlds Collide Tour, because the Worlds Collide Tour was mind-blowing. And that goes without saying, that tour was absolutely spectacular. I loved it so much, and I loved hearing the reactions from the fans, because the reactions from the fans were really priceless. Hearing you shout, "Oh my God," hearing you screaming all the time. I would, they have 43 arena dates for the Worlds Collide Tour, okay? So if you have 43 arena dates, I would have loved to attended all 43 of those arena dates and seen the same show or been a part of the same production every single night for the rest of my life if I had to. Just to see your reactions over again, just to experience it all, how the fans felt so connected with the stars of it, the production, of course, Kylie Cantrell, Mila Baker, how they were actually communicating with the fans, which is something that the communication barrier was not something that was a variable, because I don't think there was a single moment where they weren't interacting with the fans, which is something that I really took away from that. And I wish more celebrities would go out of their way to interact with their audiences more. I wish more franchises would have went out of their way to interact with their audience more, like, say, High School Musical, or even the Zombies franchise, for that matter, if they would have had their own solo production, because I think there was a lot of interaction on the part of Descendants. I love this tour, and I hope they do it again. I hope more people have the honor of attending the Worlds Collide Tour, because I would imagine some venues were sold out all across the United States, and deservingly so. But We all got to see it on YouTube anyway. I actually just read a comment from a fan who said that he loved watching it on YouTube and he enjoyed his experience. And the reason behind it was because he was financially struggling and he really had to watch how he spent his money. But he was still a huge fan of Zombies and Descendants. And hey, man, we're all in the same boat, even though we choose not to admit to it. And, however we saw the Worlds Collide tour, you're still the biggest Zombies fan out there, and you're still supporting it, even if you have to watch it on YouTube. And I love you for it, man. Shout out to you for how you watched the Worlds Collide tour. At least you watched it. It may have been ghetto style, but at least you watched it. And to every little girl who ever loved Descendants or Zombies, oh man, you're so special to me. I love you so much. I can't even put it into words how much I love you for just hitting the subscribe button on this YouTube channel and showing your love and support. There are even some little girls out there that didn't even know there was going to be Descendants 5. Well, let me fill you in. There is going to be Descendants 5, and we have a lot to be excited about and a lot to talk about over the next year, and I want to come along for the journey, if you will be so obliging to allow me to be accompaniment of all of you. I feel so honored to have become the voice of Descendants and Zombies for the better part of the last 10 years. I might not have instantly stole all of your hearts or been the voice of Descendants or Zombies, because I know there are a lot of shows on YouTube that talk about Descendants or Zombies and how great of a chance there is that we could see a zombie apocalypse. I'm not taking anything away from there ever being a zombie apocalypse, because at any given moment a zombie could come in through my window. And my window in my studio is always open every night, so the chances of a zombie creeping in through my window and killing me is always relatively high. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, you have a YouTube studio. I thought that was your room. What's up, man? What's going on? Yeah, this is my room. I wish you could have saw my studio years ago, because my studio was the basement of my parents' home, and that wasn't fun. On nights that Mom would have card games like Crazy Eights and 120s and I missed all the chaos. It was never fun producing a show that was specifically targeting a specific niche. I can only imagine now if both my parents were alive and I was targeting the Descendants or Zombies niche with a Zombies Descendants podcast every night. My dad and Mom would probably want to kick my ass more times than I ever wanted to admit. And then I would be trying to convince my mom that I wanted to, fall in love with Ruby Rose Turner, and she'd probably think I was crazy. But yeah, I hosted a show out of my parents' basement years ago. It was never fun. And now I have finally had the financial support to create a YouTube show for you guys 25 years later out of my own room and out of my own house, which I feel very proud to have actually accomplished. Every single day of my life I produce up to 3 podcasts for you guys, or as many as I can, because I love the thought of mermaids seeing their introduction into the Zombies franchise and what exactly was in that vortex. We don't know what was in that vortex, but I've loved mermaids for forever, so I would accept mermaids. I also would accept witches, because the story behind myself and witches are, while I have never had many encounters with witches as I have had vampires and werewolves, because I said that I thought I lived with a guy who was a werewolf because of how he used to howl at the moon every night between different hours of the night. Usually at midnight it would start. And then I thought that I lived across the road from a vampire. I told the story about how I thought I had neighbors who were vampires, went to school with a lot of people who I thought were vampires, dated girls who I thought were vampires and found out they were, and they were involved with cults. But I've never really had that many encounters with witches. But while I've never had that many encounters with witches in my lifetime, I think witches are incredibly innocent characters, incredibly innocent creatures that could bring a very unpredictable feel to this. And we don't know what witches are going to do from one moment to the next. They're generally really silent creatures until they snap at the last given moment and have a reason to attack. So when they finally have a reason to attack, well, in between the time they find that reason to attack, that will allow your brain to explode with curiosity. And I think that's what I love the most about the Zombies franchise is you kind of can predict what's going to happen in Descendants, and I elaborated on this earlier today. You almost knew that they were going to live happily ever after, and this was going to happen, and that was going to happen, and it did. But in the Zombies franchise, what made this so fun from chapter to chapter is you didn't know that aliens were going to show up by Zombies 3. You never knew that vampires were going to show up by Zombies 4. And now in Zombies 5, you don't know what's coming next. You don't know what the producers are thinking, but I do know from the videos that I've seen on YouTube that the producers Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim deserve a hell of a lot more credit than what they've ever been given, because they are incredibly smart. They know what's happening. They know what's coming next. They're just kayfabing it. As the old cliche saying goes in the entertainment business, they know what's going to happen next. They've secured the future through Malachi Burton and Freya Sky, and they're just not going to let us know until it happens. So we've got at least 2 years in between now and Zombies 5, and that's where all the conversation is going to get more interesting as the weeks and the months and the years pass us by. I'm going to have a whole lot of fun hearing your guys' theories on this. I know I've got a lot of comments on a lot of the Zombies videos that I've done, and the comments are quite interesting. Everything from people didn't know that there was going to be a Descendants 5 to they didn't know what to expect in Zombies 5. People are speculating mermaids and witches and all these different creatures and characters who have yet to see their introduction to this, how the plot could unfold. I'm just as excited about it as each and every one of you, but I'm really going to miss Ruby. I'm crushing on Ruby Rose Turner as if there's no tomorrow. And really, I feel as if there's no tomorrow, because how can you create Descendants 5 without Ruby? You can substitute Liamana Segura in and take Ruby out of it as much as you want, but without Ruby's kindness, can Descendants still relay that same message of kindness through Liamani Segura? I certainly hope they can. If they can't relay it through Liamani, they will have me to always and forever relay it, because there's never enough kindness seen in this world. I will forever advocate for more kindness to be shown to people who deserve to have kindness in their life. I am forever, ever in love with people who go out of their way to show kindness to people who deserve it. I think that kindness is something that is a virtue, and I think that a lot of people, I think that more than enough people deserve to have kindness in their life when they are looking for it. So if you know somebody who you think may want to have a little bit of kindness shown from you, perhaps you should give them a call or send them an IM with the words "I love you" in it. And the thing about girls are girls help make everything make sense in life. And if a guy can't see you for what you're worth, well, then he's missing out on an incredible opportunity, because at least from my perspective, I believe that every little girl out there knows more than they're ever given credit for. Regardless of what other people's opinions may be of you, I think you are wonderful people. As far as I'm concerned, I may only have just a little under 3,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel, but I have met the best Descendants and Zombies fans in the world. I have fallen into an incredibly supportive niche who will protect me until it dies, which will be never. You are forever fearless. You are forever fearless. And I hope you stay forever fearless and forever young and protective of this niche and protective of me, because I've seen my fair share of criticism over the years for having become a huge fan of Descendants or Zombies. But at least the day that Jonathan Clarke fell in love with this niche and became a Descendants and Zombies fan and a Descendants and Zombies supporter, you got a guy in your corner that will forever come out swinging. Every time that bell goes ding, 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 I will come out swinging for Kyle Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner lovers. I will come out swinging for Mila Baker fans and lovers, because you deserve it. And you've deserved to hear far better than what you've been hearing on YouTube for what feels like forever, because too many people make fun of the franchise. They try to knock it too many times. They try to tear it down from the ground up, while people like us try to build it back up. And I hate having to build it back up because of how much prestigiousness this has achieved for the last 10 years. Just to have some idiot on their podcast critique it in a way they believe it deserves to be critiqued, when it doesn't even deserve to be critiqued that way at all. I do this every single day of my life, and I don't regret it. I haven't looked back since. I have put $5,000 behind this YouTube channel, and I haven't looked back since. Because I recognize the popularity of this niche. I know how prestigious it is. I know how it will last eternally in all of your hearts. I know how many sweethearts are out there because of Descendants or Zombies, and you have become sweeter because of Descendants and Zombies, because the message of kindness through songs like Life is Sweeter When You Are have been forever withstood in your hearts, and it's never going away. It is never going away. This is the most incredible experience of my life, and one, if I live to be 100 years old, which I don't think I will, but if I do get the opportunity to live to be 100 years old and live out my life, I want you to know that I will never forget this experience, and I will never forget any of you. You have deserved far better than what you've been hearing on YouTube for quite some time now. And when I moved into this house, what I wanted to create was a special show that would still in your minds that happily ever after did exist. There was a chance that forever could happen for you, and you could find your true love and fall in love with him or she for however long you wanted to, even if it was an eternity, because every little girl out there deserves to find their true love. No matter if it happens today, tomorrow, next year, next millennium, next century, what have you, every little girl out there deserves to have their special someone in their life. Even if it's just your parents, you deserve to have somebody special in your life. And the greatest honor that was ever bestowed upon me was to be welcomed into this niche with open arms and to be embraced by so many hugs from so many beautiful people and so many wonderful families who watch these videos. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to yours for being here with me every single night and trusting in me to provide you with great analogies about Descendants and Zombies. Now, I know everything about Descendants and Zombies, and some of my videos are really silly. It depends on the mood that I'm in, and usually it's a really good mood, and I want to create funny videos too on times for you guys. But all summer long, all I wanted to do, we're only halfway through the summer yet, but I didn't think we're halfway through it, but all I wanted to do all summer long was support the Worlds Collide Tour. And I like to believe that I did that. Somewhere or somehow, I like to believe that I accomplished my goal. I set out to promote the Worlds Collide Tour in a way that no other YouTube creator could have done it, and encourage people like Freya Sky, Malachi Burton, Kylie Cantrell, and Mila Baker to create. And to create in ways that they have never created in before. They may not have been able to create before in ways that I wanted them to because the opportunities they were presented with were very limited until now. Because there has never been a more supportive niche than the Descendants, and it's a huge honor for Kylie to have been bestowed with the honor of carrying on the legacies of some of her favorite franchises, such as High School Musical and Descendants, and Gabby Dern and the Unsuitables, but just primarily Descendants and High School Musical. Who would have ever thought at 9 years old, watching the original Descendants and High School Musicals, that she would have the honor to be such iconic characters, the young Queen of Hearts daughter Red Tony in High School Musical. I don't think there was ever a greater opportunity bestowed upon anybody. And Kylie just had it. If there ever such a phrase as it, and if I could ever get away with saying it, she just had it. She was incredibly strong, incredibly fearless. I drew inspiration from Kylie, and I definitely drew inspiration for sure from Ruby, because she inspired me to be a better person. And she has inspired each and every single one of you to be stronger people. And that's what's amazing, and that's what's really enthralling to me about Descendants, is that no matter how many times you felt like quitting, you got back up on your proverbial horse and you've always ridden it off into the sunset. Thank you so much for always having cherished my voice. Thank you so much for always having held these two franchises as close as you have within your hearts. And thank you so much for drawing inspiration from these franchises, because I don't honestly know if I could ever live without these two franchises now that I know about them. 10 years ago, I am forever and eternally grateful that I fell into this niche, because more times often than enough, as the sun is officially set on all of our lives tonight, you can see the dust peeking in through the window back there. It is absolutely beautiful. This camera does a great job. One of the best investments I ever made, a $500 Logitech Brio camera, can take you places on YouTube. I love this. There is no better niche that I would want to critique and provide commentary on. I will do this again tomorrow morning. I don't know what point. But I know I've got Meg Donnelly's birthday up on the line tomorrow, so we will be celebrating Meg Donnelly's 25th birthday. Really excited about that, and I hope you can join me for it. So if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, the moment that video drops, you will be notified about it. When your notification bell lights up red, you will get a video from yours truly. And you've been getting videos ever since you've been subscribed from yours truly, because I believe in the philosophy that one should never let somebody down who has been incredibly loyal to the franchise's Descendants or Zombies. Because if you let somebody down, then you've not only let them down, you've let yourself down as a YouTube creator. One of the greatest challenges of all time is getting somebody to hit your subscribe button. And that has been a challenge for me more often than enough, or than I choose to admit. But some little girl always takes a chance on me and my Mickey Mouse teacup, and always hits my subscribe button. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, man, you are really adorable. Just because you're adorable and cute and sweet, I will hit your subscribe button. Well, if you do, please don't get mad with me, and please trust in me that I will always be here for you to support you as a fan of Descendants and Zombies. Say and give you what you want, because a lot of critics have really torn these franchises down from the ground up, and I've had to rebuild it. But even though I've had to rebuild it, it's been my greatest honor, and I wouldn't have it any other way. You girls are incredibly supportive, you are incredibly sweet, and I don't know where I would be tonight without each and every one of you. Probably playing a PlayStation 5 video game no one's ever heard tell of, either playing the PlayStation 5 video game physically or playing it online, with no girlfriend to play it with me because no girl wants to play Fortnite with me and thinks I'm a real loser for having hunted vampires all of my life. But hey, while girls sleep at night, some guy who's incredibly strong and fearless has to protect the world from vampires, werewolves, witches, and zombies. And that's yours truly. That's why I'm donned in black every night with a patterned shirt. A different pattern, but the same color. Black every single night. Because I am a vampire slayer who is incredibly hot. Hit the subscribe button. I would love for you to be a part of this channel, because there's no other sweet guy on YouTube creating this many Descendants or Zombies videos for each and every one of you. Hit the button for your incredibly hot Descendants host. Unbelievable. You have been incredibly supportive of this YouTube channel, and I will forever be supportive of you and in your corner, because there is never enough kindness spread in this world, and we can all make a difference. But we can't make a difference unless we do it together. So I am your special someone. Text your special someone. Pick up the phone and call your special someone, and just let them know that you just wanted to tell them you love them for the first time in what probably feels like possibly forever. Girls have an incredible worth in this world because they help us all make sense of everything. Guys would just be idiots living in this world and slaying vampires like yours truly every night through the window. The moment I jump back in through my window tomorrow morning at sunrise at 6 a.m., I will be back with another Descendants and Zombies video for each and every one of you. I love you so much. You have been incredibly supportive, and I hope you continue to be just that. With that having been said, I've got to go get them before they get us and kick my ass. If you are a zombie or a vampire watching this video, I am coming for you. And you had better believe that, because every little girl deserves to be protected by their knight in shining armor. In this case, it is Jonathan Clarke. Jonathan Clarke on YouTube, forever in your hearts. With that having been said, bye YouTube. We will do this again tomorrow morning at sunrise. Until then, be kind to one another.